Warning. The following podcast is utter nonsense and may cause agoraphobia, kleptomania, insomnia, and oppositional defiance disorder. We are required by law to provide you with this disclaimer for hazardous materials.
Welcome back to Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week, wherein we do talk about last week's comics this week.
And we also throw in some multimedia at the news at the end because, like all YouTubers, we are slaves to the algorithm.
And we are hungry for clicks. Welcome, I'm Casey, and with me as always,
Gideon Gonzalez.
What have we got today?
We got a really big list this week. I think my pull list was like 21 or 22 titles. So
there was a lot of stuff going out. I saw that. Now, I was hard pressed to kind of see what I wanted out of this.
Yeah, so we're going to try and cram in as many of these as we can. So first and foremost, though, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, a Black Label miniseries from Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner.
I've been waiting for this one for quite some time.
And it was really fun.
I loved it.
I was not a big fan of their Harley work before, but I think with no restraints and also not having a lot of the co-star characters for too much time also really helped. Not a big fan of the Beaver. There's precisely one good joke you can do with the Beaver, and thankfully they did it.
Yeah, I know. I guess they're just trying to keep a little bit of continuity with it. Yeah. And they have been a little shameless with their guest stars. They say, you know what, if we're doing this, we're going to do this. Yeah. I was reading an interview with them recently where they were actually talking about the fact that they're completely aware that, okay, you've hired us to do this. You realize I'm going to bring Power Girl into this, right? Okay, good.
And I will say, it is great to see Amanda Conner draw Power Girl.
It again. Really is.
Always
She's
nice.
My favorite. The Power Girl trade that came out, the one where she's like standing up with the yellow stars, like kind of like Wonder Woman in the background. I love that trade. It's just Amanda Conner goodness throughout.
Yeah. Those first 12 issues are absolutely phenomenal. And the rest of the run isn't nothing to sneeze at either, but it's just kind of the magic's kind of gone when she leaves the book.
It really does kind of lose its luster.
Yeah. But enough about Power Girl. We're talking about Harley and the Birds. I
think we could talk about Power Girl some more.
We always can.
Well, let's talk about Harley Quinn and what she brought to the table. So this is a Black Label book. They're trying to go a little uncensored. And when we mean uncensored, you're going to get the occasional F-bomb.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
And well used as well.
Yeah. They kept it tasteful, though. All the boobies were nice and censored.
Yeah, I think after Batwang, we won't be seeing any new. They got a little gun shy. So
it's like we can't have the boobies even on our Black Label stuff. So in this book, we're basically dealing with Harley Quinn and her mistake. Mm-hmm. She went off with Poison Ivy into a nice island, and she decided to make a choice, and that was basically to let the ship fly, kind of coast away, and kind of abandon them on this island, which of course pissed off Poison Ivy to no end. But it wasn't really so much focused on that, but it was focused on what happened at home while she was gone this entire time.
Yeah.
Wherein she didn't make her payments on her mortgage of her building. So that got burned down because you can only really take mortgage payments out of, well, with I should say, evil people. And evil people, when you miss a mortgage payment, it's not like, hey, late payments. No, it's, hey, beat your friend, burn your place.
Yeah, her building manager, Big Tony, gets just the ever shit beaten out of him.
Yeah, I haven't seen Big Tony in a while, actually. It was nice to see them. It was actually nice to see all the Harley Quinn gang in there.
Red Tool, who is, I still think hysterical. I'll go to bat for Red Tool. That's a great gag.
That's a gag that just keeps paying off because apparently he's in love with Harley Quinn. And I mean, we all know. If you're reading Harley Quinn, you know who Red Tool is. It's just DC's way of writing Deadpool into the book. That's exactly what it is.
And all of his speech bubbles are shaped like power tools, which is delightful.
Yeah, I like he's got his little belt with power tools on it. So most of this is basically her trying to get the money back to pay these people so that she can build her new place back in, because all the Harley Quinn people, her
gang of Harleys.
Her gang of Harleys all lived in that building, so they lost everything. So she's like, well, it's going to cost me $1 million to build this building all again. I'm going to have to get all this money. Hey, Power Girl, could you make some diamonds for me? I'm not doing that. Are you sure? I'm not making diamonds for you. Okay, well, I'm going to have to find some other way to do this then.
So she hitches a train to Gotham and bumps into the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, well, you know what I found? It was a little confusing. The color choices that they used for Huntress's skin left me a little confused.
They've drawn Helena as pretty dark since like she got reintroduced in Helena Bertinelli in the New 52.
Mm-hmm.
So she is more visibly ethnically Italian.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, maybe just because I've been staring at Harley his whole book, who was decidedly powder white. And I was like, maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. So I started looking at everybody else and it's like, oh, Cassandra Cain's a little dark. Red Tool. Okay, Red Tool looks like a white guy. So what are they trying to say with this Huntress? Are they saying that is that what Italian people look like? And I just don't know it, or my brain is fried.
Yeah, again, they have been drawing her darker since she was reintroduced in Grayson a few years back.
Huh. Okay. Well, it kind of surprises me that all the birds of prey they put in this book are the exact same character choices from the movie.
Yes, I mean it's pretty transparently a media tie-in comic.
So much so that remember we were bitching and complaining about Cassandra Cain in the last one, and I saw in the promo image that they have Cassandra Cain, and it's clear that she's lifted Huntress's arrows off of her. That's not what Cassandra Cain does.
Yeah, the cover had me kind of leery that it'd be more in line with the movie version, but Cassandra Cain still feels pretty true to her traditional comic self, with maybe a little off kilter in the light continuity that is the Palmiotti Connor Harley book.
Yeah, true. It's like, I'm not really sure what she's doing in this. I'm not sure what she's doing with the birds of prey. And of course they did. It's nice that they kept her like mute for most of it.
Yeah, her nonverbal communication is pretty fun. Mostly like communicating through like exclamation points, question marks, stuff like that, like gestures.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see where they go with that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I loved Amanda Connor's work.
Mm-hmm. Excellent cartoonist.
I've always loved her art. I would read like the encyclopedia if she illustrated it. This is what I would do for Amanda Connor. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm on board for the rest of it.
Yeah, me too. It was quite a good time. I did not expect to enjoy as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
But moving right along to the Green Lantern Season 2, Number 1. Fun numbering there by Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp, continuing their Green Lantern epic, which sadly got cut down from 12 issues to 8. But I'm still loving this crazy ride.
Okay, this face is because I've got things to say about this.
Is it that it was awesome and there was apes and we got to see the creation of the new Guardians?
This book was insane.
Yes.
It was insane. But here's the thing I have. It's a number 1 issue. So this is a starting point for a lot of people, especially, everybody, oh, wow, Green Lantern. I want to go check out Green Lantern. Oh, okay, here's a number 1. If I was coming in from the cold and I open up this book, my brain would melt.
Yeah.
This book was insanity.
It's not for the weak.
I had serious trouble trying to follow it from the first point because I was like, what's going on? And the first 3 pages were almost completely nonsensical. So I was completely lost.
So I'll say this once again, a great example of quit relaunching your damn books in the middle of runs.
Yeah.
But also, I think it still functions as a number 1. It's just very much not handling you with kid gloves for a Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp time.
This is not an entry point book at all. You really got to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you know your Green Lantern, I know my Green Lantern. I knew what I was going in, and I was still...
It's a skew. A lot of new concepts. We had a living salt being...
That was great. I liked
combines
him.
with a water being, like, because humans are mostly water.
Yeah,
I thought that was really fun.
There was an ocean of possibilities. Now there was one thing that I'm kind of puzzled with because I knew that they replaced the Guardians of the Galaxy not Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Guardians of Oa quite some time ago with younger Guardians. Well, not really younger Guardians, but new Guardians.
All new, all different Guardians.
And now they're washing those out with another batch of new Guardians?
Yeah. Don't know what's the deal with that. But
that seems unnecessary.
I can't really defend that choice, but I'd like to see Grant Morrison's take on it. Grant's one of those creators that he can do pretty much any idea, and I'll be like, sure, I'll see what you do with this.
Well, Grant Morrison is also one of those creators that comes in and sees like, oh, hey, wow, look at all these things that are working. Okay, now I'm starting over on my terms. I don't like that scrub the baseboard kind of idea of writing.
I mean, I don't think he really does that too often. Like what
he did it to X-Men.
Yeah, and that desperately needed it. Like you read those Scott Lobdell comics that came out right before, they're not good.
I'm just saying what he did to Magneto way back then is still reverberating now because it's like, Why? Why did you do that to Magneto?
Post 9/11, dude's a terrorist. It was a different time.
It was short term thinking. It really was, because you're writing a character that's like, okay, this is great. This is exciting for the 1 to 6 months though. You're going to be thinking about this, but what's going to happen to this character 10 years from now? I
will say this again to defend it, that you go back a decade from before Grant Morrison's Magneto story, they'd already kicked aside all of Claremont's character development in X-Men #2.
Oh, I'm not excusing that.
Yeah, let's say. So Grant was playing the ball where it lied. Magneto had not been a heroic figure for a good decade at that point.
Yeah, but they were definitely doing Scorched Earth.
Oh, yeah. He was playing it out to its logical conclusion of, we're having full villain ball Magneto? Alrighty. He's about to shoot a 3-pointer with that villain ball.
I think he's a talented writer, but I don't like the Scorched Earth idea of coming in and even taking the good concepts and kind of throwing them out on their ass.
And actually, counterpoint to the Scorched Earth thing, though, he is. I would say he's in one of the best restorative creators in comics, because you look at his Batman run, he took stuff that people were desperately trying to scrub away for decades. I was like, no, the Silver Age happened. It's all canon. His Green Lantern's similar. He brings Kanjar Row back as a weird mosquito man. Future issues have the bird people that he and Flash teamed up with earlier. He's very much the entire history of the character is important. Maybe not the most recent stuff because he wants to do his own thing, but he's bringing back a lot of stuff that generally gets swept under. There
was a Lantern a while back in I think the early 80s. I think his name was Chummer Musk or something. It was a very ape-like Lantern.
Okay, I'm in.
And there was a whole storyline where he was basically brought to trial because he had eaten a lantern and taken his ring. That's how he got to being a lantern. Is that
That's amazing.
He beat this bird alien, and that's the reason why I'm getting it is because of the bird alien thing. And he ate a bird alien because that was the proper and right thing and respectful thing to do as far as he was concerned. And he took the ring, and he kept the ring. And the brother of this bird alien puts him on trial for murder for the whole thing.
That's so good.
So that's how I remember this particular character because of his origins of eating this guy.
I'm very excited for Grant to bring him back.
I really wish I could remember his name. I know it started with a CH, and he had kind of a slightly kind of monkey-ish look to him. He eventually got killed.
Of course.
Yeah, whole thing. But artistically speaking, I enjoyed what they were doing because they were testing the new Lantern.
Yeah.
And once that was revealed to me, I was like, oh, okay. Maybe this isn't quite as insane as I thought.
I love Liam
to
Sharp's design for the new Lantern. Also, I love how ornate it is.
What with the Hal Jordan's Class A uniforms? Or are you talking about the new candidates?
The new physical Lantern.
We give you new advanced Lantern without telling you really what it does.
He can shrink monkeys.
He did in fact shrink monkeys. I was unaware of that particular power. So I guess that's what the new Lantern's all about.
Yeah,
is you can do a little matter transformation.
I kind of love that it's. Again, Grant Morrison doing Silver Age stuff when the ring could just do whatever it needed to.
Yeah, whatever it wanted. Now, as long as they're not throwing cellophane symbols at people to entrap them, I'm okay.
Just you wait. Bendis brought back a Nuclear Man in an issue of Superman, so anything's on the table.
I heard about that and I did not read that.
He was there for a panel.
I'm going to say I'm going to check out a couple issues after this. If it feels the way that this issue feels, I'm probably going to check out again.
Well, there's only 8 of them, so.
Oh, is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I was very let down that initially it was supposed to be 2 12-issue seasons with the 3-issue Black Stars in the middle, but Green Lantern Season 2 got knocked down to 8 issues. So I've got a theory that it's to coincide with when DC does that big 5G relaunch in the future, that they'll be like, hey, we want to get this done a bit earlier, and we don't want to have Hal Jordan being the main Green Lantern, which... Don't blame him for that.
I did enjoy the fact that they talked about how completely out of touch Hal is with the world.
Yeah. We're getting Hal Jordan the Earth Adventures in this run.
Yeah, he doesn't even.
I'm excited for.
He doesn't even know who president is. It's like, oh Hal,
he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I have not seen Hal do Earth stuff in a long time.
Yeah, there was the dumb stuff when he was looking like Gambit.
Oh God! What do you mean with the jacket?
Yeah, that was real bad.
That's the very moment I stopped reading Green Lantern.
That's a good call. But there was an issue of.
Do you remember who was writing it?
Vendetti.
Exactly.
Who will come back up later in this podcast.
Oh God!
But there was a recent issue from season 1 of Morrison's Green Lantern where he and Ollie did that little. Well, I think we talked about on the show. They did the hard traveling heroes bit.
Yeah.
But with Zine Arrow and Zine Lantern. It was great.
I remember back in the late 70s, early 80s that Green Arrow and Green Lantern were basically adventuring out of a Winnebago.
Yeah, that was the late 60s, early 70s.
Was that?
It got reprinted in the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh God. And it was, man, the late 70s and the early 80s, there was definitely the era of reprints. I saw a lot of weird stuff that I found out later was 60s stuff. God, I'm really old. Moving right along, we're going to talk about Superman Heroes #1. Now, this is falling in line with Superman's reveal to the world. And this is, I guess, a little bit of a fallback because this is how he talks to the heroes about what he did and basically taking their take.
And it's a fun little anthology with just a bunch of little short stories about different characters reacting to the reveal. The opening one being, of course, that scene where he's at the Hall of Justice talking to everyone. You get little quick headshots by Kevin Maguire of JLI fame.
Yes. I was so happy about that.
Yeah, that was a really fun sequence. There's a great bit with Booster Gold climbing up on a mountain to yell out, Clark Kent, because he's been holding that in since he first traveled back in time.
What did he call it this day? It's
a Miracle Monday.
Miracle Monday.
Which is a Elliot S. Magan novel from spinning out of the first Superman movie, where Superman saves the entire world, but no one can remember it. They just vaguely remember something good happened on Miracle Monday.
Huh.
I can't remember what the exact date is, but it's like... It's one of the Mondays, I think, in May. I might be totally off base about that, though.
Huh.
But whenever it's Miracle Monday, people post about it on Twitter and stuff, and so I celebrate it.
I was born on a May Monday.
Could be. Maybe could have been Miracle Monday. Superman could have saved the world from the devil, and no one remembered. It's a great little novel. Hunt it down. Highly recommend it.
So in this, I saw a couple of nice things I really liked. Of course, the right man drawing Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. I love that. Definitely love that. What I was strangely surprised by was the noir-esque insert about Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was some good Greg Rucka stuff right there.
Where we're definitely talking about Batman out of his element. Actively admitting to being jealous that he can't do what Supes did.
That was really good. Really sad.
I enjoy when they actually write Batman against type because he's just one of those characters that if you don't, he's going to stay one note and that's it. And everyone's so keen on keeping him on that one note because that's what keeps him Batman.
Yeah.
You know, he's got this angst. He's got this edge. He does this. He always does this. And this sells movies. This sells comics. We can't deviate too far from this. And I've seen them deviate nicely during the wedding issues. I've seen them deviate nicely in the follow-ups where I was actually about to bring up, like, I really reminded me a lot of Tom King's Batman run, where you get to see a much more like emotionally vulnerable Batman, right?
Which is the reason I love Tom King's run and why a lot of people didn't love Tom King's run.
And you know what? Now I'm thinking about those people that don't like it. Those are the people that want him to be always in his path. And it's the reason I don't read Batman at all.
Yeah. Well, they're happy now because they get a really bland Batman comic now. You screwed up a good thing. Now I got to wait for Batcat to come out.
Yeah, exactly. So this little story, I was like, oh, okay. A little bit of humanity here.
It's a sweet little story.
Yeah, he's admitting to a personal emotional fault that doesn't involve vengeance.
I really loved the story where Clark goes and visits one of his elementary school teachers, and his reaction is like, when you first said, I said, of course it's Clark Kent. That was the kid that always kept trying.
He kept his consistent C- average.
Yeah, exactly. It's like cheaters usually shoot for the A's. Like I know you never would. No,
nice C-.
There's the Jimmy Olsen story.
That's what I was going to talk about.
Matt Fraction, Steve Lieber, who do the current Jimmy book.
I really like that.
That was really sweat. I know I'm overusing that word, but that's just kind of the feeling of the book.
But you like Jimmy.
I do love Jimmy. He is a top 5 DC character for me.
And the fact that they've okay, so I'm so out of touch with Superman comics, and therefore I'm out of touch with all the supporting cast. To me, Jimmy Olsen is still just Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. He really hasn't been anything bigger than that as far as my mind is concerned. So when I'm diving back into it and realize, oh, they really have done things with his character. He's a reporter. He's an investigator, and apparently a really good one. And he just put two and two together. It's like, man, there's only two people that call me Jim. Now it's just one.
I love that. That was my favorite moment of the book. It was so good.
He totally just figured it out right there. And I was like, you know what? I guess somebody that's intuitive and a heavy duty investigator and is that close to Soups probably would have figured it out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the fact that they've actually outright dropped Jimmy knew this the whole time. And that's the reason why when he showcased himself to Jimmy, he's like, yeah, I knew. You know, Lois told me. I wasn't surprised then either.
Oh, yeah. I'm very much looking forward to the counterpoint to this issue, Superman Villains, which I think is coming out next month. Really good anthology here. Excited to see what comes in the next one.
Yeah, because in the end of the book, you're left with this fact that apparently whoever owns the Daily Planet is involved in organized crime.
Yeah, that was a big part of Event Leviathan.
Yeah, and they're talking to him, and they realize, you know, we have to tell the truth, but if we tell the truth, everything's going to get ruined. The Daily Planet is going to completely lose its reputation. Everybody involved in the Daily Planet is going to be under scrutiny, you know, for this criminal.
I will say, despite these being written by the same guy, I found a little bit of an issue with the Superman from this week, which it wasn't on our list, but I'm just going to talk about it real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
So part of Superman's plot is that the news team from the Daily Star is like, what the hell are we going to do now? Daily Planet's got Superman working for them. How can we top him?
Yeah.
And they get like a leak of Superman declaring himself Earth's ambassador to the United Planets.
And this is what you were talking about before we started recording.
There's a great line where one of them goes, it's like, well, I'm just saying, I'd like a human to represent human matters at the United Planets. And that's what's making me a racist against Kryptonians, all three of them, and their dog. But the issue kind of ends with them jumping Lois with like all these questions about the United Planets. And so I actually kind of stole this from a Rich Johnston Bleeding Cool article. But he pointed out, I was like, well, why don't they just kind of like swap stories there? Why doesn't Lois be like, hey, I've got the scoop about who owns the Daily Planet, so that they report it, it's not like, you know, there's no issues there. But also, hey, maybe kill that whole United Planet thing. We'll give you a great scoop about the Daily Planet. So that way they can get the reporting out there, but not compromise themselves.
I like the sorting of the mail.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Where, oh no, Clark. This is the lowest pile.
Yeah, yours is the truck outside.
But yeah, Bendis' Superman stuff, still great.
Still good.
It took me a while to warm up to it, but I'm really loving the main Superman
I was
book.
afraid that this was just basically going to be a dash for cash.
Mm-hmm.
You know how, I don't know what I'm talking about here. Yes, I do know what I'm talking about here. 60s, 70s, even in the 80s, you always had these over-the-top covers. It really had nothing really to do with the story, but it was like, Superman, I've done this. I'm your bestest friend. And all these hooks to get you to read the book. When you get to read a book, it's got nothing to do with it. You know, Batman's not trying to kill Superman's girlfriend, and the Joker's not trying to help the Batman.
The best part of those issues is always the one page where you have context for the incredibly contrived cover image moment. Yeah.
So when I found out that he's going to reveal himself to the world, I was like, is that just a story hook for this month and it's going to have nothing to do with it? And then I found out, okay, this really is the real deal. Okay, this is getting pretty serious. Okay, wow, they're really putting DC's really putting the gas on this. There's no Mephisto to overtake it, which I thought was interesting because Zatanna brought up specifically, I don't have magic to undo what you're going to do. So I think that was a direct rub.
Yeah. My God, it definitely was. And Bendis is traditionally a Marvel guy, so he was in the offices when that decision was made.
Oh God!
But we're talking too much Superman. As much as I love it,
too much soups. We got to go into okay,
a masterwork in comics craft. The Terrifics number 25 by Gene Luen Yang and Dan Mora. My favorite issue of a series that I really, really love.
Now, this was a surprise. Obviously, not a whole lot of comics people are out there going, "Oh my God, did you see the new Terrifics?" It's not exactly mainstream.
Yeah, it's a weirder title.
It's a weird title, and it's led by Mr. Terrific, who is of old school JSA fan or fame, and you got like Plastic Man in here and Metamorpho.
My man Metamorpho. All-time great.
Who do they call? What do they call him? Dexy?
Rexy.
Rexy. That's right. He is definitely a Rex.
Rexy baby.
Yeah, Rexy baby. Okay, so
and Phantom Girl, who is the ancestor of the Legion of Superheroes character.
Right. Now, see, this was interesting concept, very innovative, and as I was telling you, great on paper, not so much on digital.
Yeah, this issue is a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah,
which in physical form is amazing.
Yeah, flip. Oh wow, that happened. Now I read
Flip
all
back.
see all this stuff right here. This is all Gideon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my comics. So going. Oh god. Every time I had to choose, it got annoying.
I can see that.
I wanted to be part of the concept. I want to be part of the fun, but man, digital comics does not lend itself well to flipping pages quickly.
Yeah. So with that note, they do an amazing job of making all of the choice trees line up and comparative really well. They do a great job of layering them and having them weave in and out of each other. There's some fun cameos. Dan Mora's interiors, amazing. He's been drawing the covers for Terrifics for quite a while now, but this is his first time doing interiors in the book, and it's going to be really disappointing when he doesn't come back.
So since we typically talk spoilers for books anyway, I have to know. And I got a little lost because, as I told you, I trusted you.
Yes.
And I went with Metamorphose plan first, and that led me to ruin.
Yeah, Metamorphose is the one that fails the quickest.
Yeah, then I went with Plastic Man. That went to ruin. I wasn't going to go with Phantom Girl because she already said early in the book, I can't do anything with this. I'm like, oh, okay, you're out. So I went Mr. Terrific.
Phantom Girl actually gets you pretty far.
But then I went Mr. Terrific's Roots idea, which has got everybody killed. So I need to know, who should I have gone with?
I think Phantom Girl has an option or two that works. Mr. Terrific, I believe, is the most straightforward one.
Okay, so I should have gone with Mr. Terrific. Look for the weakness above.
Yes,
that's the track.
You go up.
Okay,
there's a door. You go through it. There's some more. I was about to call them Kenku, but there's like crow people.
See, it's at the knockers. That's exactly what I checked out. It's like, how many options? Nope.
Yeah, there's like 5 of them. But yeah, use the right door knocker to get in. They have to understand the language of the bird people so they can talk to the king of the bird people and get a plan going. It's really fun. And even one of my favorite things when the stories do this is there's an in-universe explanation for the format or
the infinity sphere.
He's created an infinity sphere that gives him like all of the options and possible pathways of any choice. So that's kind of why the story is like it is.
Didn't they do something like this in the Flash series recently?
I don't know if they did it in the Flash.
I'm trying to remember because I've actually seen this.
Squirrel Girl
looking into the future routine.
Yes. And this wasn't recently. This was good 7 years ago, or not 7, like 5 or 6 years ago. And New 52 Flash, there's an issue where Barry Allen like puts his brain into overdrive, and there's 3 pathways going throughout the book. So you have like a red pathway, a yellow pathway, and a blue pathway, and it just extrapolates all of his options for him.
It might not be what I'm thinking of, but I'm not going to waste time trying to figure out what the hell that was all about.
Terrific's awesome book.
Buy it in print format.
Yes, get that one in print.
All right, moving right on, we got Amazing Spider-Man 39. Now,
my podcast with Jonah.
This is anything that's going to involve J. Jonah Jameson, especially in his most recent iteration, I'm all about.
Spidey's pal, J. Jonah.
So J. Jonah is basically on a mission trying to do right by Spider-Man by singing his praises, and he's hooked up with the way that media is now, which is all about clicks and viewers and stuff like that.
He invented clickbait with Threat or Menace.
Exactly. So now he's on his podcast group with Threat or Menace, and he's what's the name of that reporter?
Nora Winters,
who was always kind of skeevy.
Yeah. So
she's involved in this, and she's all about getting those sweet clicks. She gets this podcast because she figures that J. Jonah Jameson hates everything, so he is great for bringing in people. But then you get him in with Spider-Man, who's been trying to do right with him, and everything is all great. It's like, I'm really glad you came here. You're really a good hero and a good example for the people and all this other stuff. And they're all just looking on the outside going, this is not going to work. It's like, no. Leave them in there long enough. They'll be at each other's throats. sooner or later, Spider-Man starts egging him on. It's like, man, how does it feel to be so wrong about me? You know, spend your career, your reputation on how wrong you are. And Jonah's like, well, I wasn't entirely wrong. And it just snowballs from there. And it's great.
Meanwhile, Chance, who you may remember from those from Todd McFarlane's first 2 Spidey issues.
298.
Yep, 298 and 299. Is running a big old supervillain casino where they're betting on superhero fights.
And the Foreigner gets involved.
Yes, the Foreigner gets involved. And he makes a bet that he can steal one of Spidey's web shooters right off his wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And so right when J. Jonah and Spidey are getting at the peak of their fight, boom, studio gets blown up.
And of course, Winters is in the back going, oh my God, is this about to happen? Are they about to fight? This is going to be great.
But instead you get a supervillain fight and wrecked recording equipment.
But that's still going to be great if they can record that.
Oh, man.
That's gonna be that's clickbait. I'm already excited for their viewers.
It is, yeah, delightful stuff.
That's what we need. You know what? We need a villain that's gonna bust in his wall and start beating the crap out of us. I guarantee that we're gonna get more viewers.
Well, I'll let you keep hoping that.
Yeah. By the way, the address that we're at right now. No, I'm just kidding.
But Nick Spencer's Spider-Man continues to be a hoot. It has its lulls, but when he's writing like the comedy stuff that like from Superior Foes.
I love that stuff. I'm all about this Spider-Man and the way this Spider-Man is being written. I'm glad that they're not afraid to keep at the storyline of J. Jonah Jameson, trying to keep it real.
Oh, yeah.
And not just going straight to the trope of hating Spider-Man, because that's easy writing.
And tying into our next book, one of the scenes that Chance is gambling on is a fight between the Hulk and some kind of Yeti, who turns out to be, of course, Zenmu, the Living Hulk.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like the fact that they got 2 books coming out the exact same week referenced.
Yes.
And I was like, that's
pretty
smart.
damn good.
That was pretty smart. So yeah, we are going to talk a little bit about Immortal Hulk, where Zenmu, the Titan, shows up and shows us exactly what superpowered gaslighting can do for you.
He is terrifying. Like, my God, he's creepy as hell. He just lands and he's talking about, like, don't you remember me, everyone? Don't you, like, you remember your first love? The Saturday morning television? The sweet smell of fresh plastic toys? Then you remember me. And there's just these like constant close-ups on his eyes as he's, like, mind whammying people.
So, yeah, basically, we get into the concept of why, okay, you know the Hulk, the different names of the different Hulks. Mm-hmm. What is the primitive Hulk's name? Is that
Savage Hulk? Is generally
Savage Hulk, because that's who we're dealing with for most of this. And one of the background characters is talking to Savage Hulk, getting actually a chance to ask him some of his motivations. Like, what's this thing you always keep talking about every time? You always keep repeating this word, and it's like, Hulk. What exactly is that?
Yeah, kind of the big thing is that Zenmu, the Living Hulk, is whamming people's memories of the Hulk. So even Devil Hulk doesn't remember. Yeah,
so now what we've got is the supreme gaslighting that Zenmu the Titan is the Incredible Hulk.
Yes. The Incredible TM, as the later solicitations explicitly referred to him as.
Yeah, so much so it's even affected the memory of the character that's narrating the very first part.
Yeah, she has a bookend of like reflecting on when she used to harvest MGH for the Kingpin. And they're drawn by Javier Rodriguez. So it's a far cry from Joe Bennett's art. Very different. Still excellent, amazing artist that I love. And the story ends with her getting busted by Daredevil. And it's like, I've always remembered I wanted to meet Daredevil. And the new ending for the story is, I always remembered I wanted to meet the Incredible Hulk. And it's Zenmu flying in.
So I'm kind of curious as to where this is going to go, because I really haven't seen a Zenmu story in decades.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen him in anything.
Yeah, I always thought he looked kind of silly, because my first experience to him was in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. And I look at this guy, he just looks like a big Furby with armor parts. How am I supposed to take this seriously? And I was like, oh
man, his catchphrase of "oh me, oh my," so creepy.
See, I used to play TSR's Marvel Superheroes, which was a role-playing game, and gave a lot of stats to a lot of characters. And this involved, of course, showcasing what powers and how intense they were for characters I'd never seen before. And one of those was Zenmu. So I'm looking at this Furby, and I'm looking as a psionic ability. Like, oh crap, that's some Professor X mind melting kind of shit.
Yep. And it's not a major plot point, but my personal favorite part is when Absorb Man turns to Starscream.
Oh God, yeah. No guidelines.
So he's getting sent into the thick of the fight, and he climbs up on the roof of the plane they're on, and Puck's like, "Don't just absorb the metal, absorb the engines." And he goes, it's the nice thing about getting your powers from a trickster god, not really rules. Hell, some days there aren't even guidelines. And then he turns into a robot plane and flies off.
That was the greatest.
So good. Oh my God.
And the funny thing is, I actually felt like that was what was going to happen. You are talking about magic. You're talking about a trickster god. There are no guidelines.
When I got to that page, I sprinted to the room that my girlfriend was in and was like, look at this. He turned into a robot plane.
Did you get a blank look? Because I don't think she's a comic fan, is she?
Oh, she does. She actually reads a good chunk of my books. Like she reads all the X books. She doesn't read Hulk. But almost every week I have some big reaction to something in Hulk. So.
we need to harness your comic energy. I think we would save the energy crisis.
But moving right along to a crisis, though.
Thor.
A broken base between the two of us.
A gnashing of teeth between friends.
Yes. So I, like any hot-blooded, breathing American, adore Beta Ray Bill. Icon of stage and screen.
My producer raising his hand also loves Beta Ray Bill.
Page and screen.
Now, apparently I'm being labeled a sociopath because I couldn't give two square about Beta Ray Bill.
He's a good horse. He's the only good horse.
Now this comes back to the whole, and I've brought this up before. I've never enjoyed mythological heroes. Mm-hmm. So Thor, I couldn't care crap about it. Movies, yay. Comics, boring. And that Beta Ray Bill comes part and parcel with that. So, of course I'm not going to like him.
Disappointing.
And that makes me a monster.
It does.
That makes me a monster.
Yeah. You're worse than Galactus, who killed all of Beta Ray Bill's people.
I don't even know enough about Beta Ray Bill to even know, did Galactus kill all of his people like then, just right now? Or was this like part of his history?
That's part of his backstory.
Okay.
When he's introduced, he's guiding Scuttlebutt, which is the ship of like all the surviving Corbinites. Because he's a hero. And that's what heroes do. Now, here's the
thing. When it comes to mythological heroes, if it ain't Hercules, I don't give a crap.
Well, Hercules is the best of them.
However, that being said, my own personal feelings about that being said, I do like what's going on with this book. And I do like the fact it's new and fresh and they're making him like the Herald of Galactus. And in this issue, they really highlight the fact that, okay, yes, I do have the power cosmic, but it's on my terms. Mm-hmm. And Galactus comes in and goes, hey, wait, no. You're my slave. That's how this goes. No.
Yeah, Thor's got that. He's got that Odin force.
Yeah,
he can dunk on people.
That's exactly what he did, because he's explaining. Listen, I've still got the hammer. What does that tell you?
And it's just a knockdown, drag out brawl between Thor and Beta Ray Bill, and it's heartbreaking. Because
in that reveal, he also tells Beta Ray Bill, "Hey, listen, I'm here of my own free will," and of course, Beta Ray Bill is betrayed by this.
Yes, and.
Because you are bringing the devourer of worlds
exactly,
with you.
Who devoured his own world.
Yeah.
And there's the big moment of the book is Thor throws Mjolnir at him. Beta Ray Bill is catching it and holding onto it and standing his ground. And Thor is like, no power in the realms can get between me and my hammer.
And we're going to throw that image up there.
Beta Ray Bill goes, and yet. And so Thor is like, let go, brother, or I'll tear your arm off. And he goes, do it. See what happens.
And I was thinking, is how do you deal with that when you've got the person you've thrown the hammer to is worthy enough to hold it? Is it going to do what it's supposed to do?
So Thor instead uses his power to take Stormbreaker, Bill's hammer, and shatters it on Mjolnir. And just that scene broke my heart. I was very sad by that. It's like, brother versus brother. He's got Beta Ray Bill's got his great new costume with his big flowing mane.
It's the blue and the gray all over again.
Broke my heart. But the issue ends with Sif coming in, protecting her man, Beta Ray Bill. Glad that ship's still around because I love it.
Is that what's going on there? Sif's in?
They had a bit of a thing. But she comes in just be like, Thor, this is getting out of hand. You need to calm down. And so
I got the power cosmic.
Hopefully. I want Bill and Sif to put Thor in his place. He's gotten too big for his britches. His Odin-sized britches.
So what is your speculation? How do you think this whole thing is going to settle itself?
I got no idea, which is a great feeling.
Yeah, because really... they're there doesn't appear to be a path on this that is not going to damage someone.
Yeah, like they gotta get Galactus's 5 MacGuffin planets so he can eat the Black Winter, but Thor's not gonna have a lot of friends left by the end of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So moving right on to the good stuff. Now we're bringing you the X report.
Pew pew. And here we finally part 1 of getting some answers that have been laid dormant since Hawks and Pox. His next issue is going to be the big Nightcrawler issue.
Yeah.
This issue is the big Mystique issue, which explains what her mission was.
Back in the Sentinel factory that was going around the sun, because she definitely was up to something, and she got sidetracked for a little bit, as she says,
and then knocked out of an airlock.
Yeah, and this part breaks my heart a little bit because I'm a huge Mystique fan, and I really want her to be on board. But at the same time, I understand her price for being on board could be too great. Because, okay, you should know, this is the book that they outright tell you that Destiny and Mystique were lovers. There's no gray issue.
Yeah, she screams, I want my wife back.
I want my wife back. And I can understand why Xavier and Magneto are a little hesitant to do that, because Destiny sees through all bullshit.
They have explicit command from Moira, do not bring back Destiny.
Never bring back Destiny. And unfortunately, Destiny knows all about that jack shit, because before she died, she told Mystique, hey, listen, this is going to happen. And when they don't bring me back, burn it all to the ground.
Yeah. And Mystique realizes that they're just dangling this carrot in front of her and they're never going to actually bring her back. They keep moving the goalposts. Like, do this task for us and we'll bring back your wife. And then over the course of the issue, she realizes nothing's going to be enough.
It's just too dangerous.
Yeah. They're just pulling her along.
I mean, they could nerf her, but then that would kind of go against the whole concept of what they're doing.
I'm very excited for the possibility of Mystique bringing Destiny back against everyone's wishes and new Brotherhood, baby.
I think that's what's going to happen here.
Coming back.
We all knew that these villainous mutants were going to be X-Men villains again. We're just kind of figuring out they have to have new priorities, new motivations. And this carrot dangling, as you call it, is that's going to do it for Mystique. She doesn't truck with bullshit too long.
Nope.
But this is important. This is important enough to her that she gives a crap.
Yeah. And we should actually reveal what her secret mission was in Hawks and Pox. It was planting a portal seed in the satellite.
Yeah, so they can go back and forth now.
So they have access.
Yeah, smart thinking.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then, of course, it goes back and it showcases that the background characters you were ignoring in the first part of this comic was actually Mystique doing her work.
Yeah. She finds out that they're building Nimrod. They're getting close.
Yeah.
And Xavier and Magneto are like, why didn't you stop it? And she was like,
can't kill humans.
Yeah. It's like, we got a law on Krakoa. And they're like, well, you could have
just done it anyway.
And she's like, nope. No. Give me my wife back and we'll talk.
Yeah.
Doot.
When I hear them go, well, you could have just done it anyway. And I'm thinking about my boy in that dark pit that he's still in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll let Sabretooth out just to kill a lot of Nimrod creators.
Yeah. Well, you can't pick and choose who you're going to throw into the hell. Just because you don't like my boy Victor doesn't mean you get to take the rules away from Mystique.
And speaking of playing fast and loose with the rules, X-Force number 7.
Oh, yes, indeed. So this one focuses a lot on Domino's abilities that have been severely impacted because of what they've done to her.
Yeah, being half-skinned and having your powers grafted onto another person will do that. And
she's still in this messed up form.
Yeah, like her skin is slowly but surely coming back. But
and this is what I was telling you. I don't think they're going to have a Domino book until that gets resolved.
Yeah, not anytime soon.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't wait to. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. I know I'm jumping ahead, but you know that incredible artist that was in Domino,
David Beldion?
Yes, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I cannot wait to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
We got some stuff to talk about him in a little bit. And I'm super excited about it. So she actually goes out and meets up with Colossus, who is actually a former lover of hers.
Yeah, I really like that scene a lot because they both died on different but similar missions going out into the world and have been resorrected. And
now this is the thing.
Colossus is pretty messed up by it.
I don't remember how Colossus died.
It was kind of just a footnote in X-Force number 1.
Was that what happened?
I think it was X-Force number 1. They mentioned that he was in Russia and got killed. But it was not a huge deal in the book.
Okay, because I was going back. It's like, I don't remember that.
I think he either was killed or he got picked up by the Marauders or something.
But
yeah, it was a very small part of X-Force #1.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad about losing out on that.
Because I remember he was on the cover of X-Force #1, so I was surprised that it's taken him this long to come back to him. But
that is kind of surprising.
Yeah, he's on the beach painting while Domino is running in the middle of the night.
I did enjoy that he's wearing a version of his old Cockrum uniform.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's very rare you ever see Colossus in human form wearing the Cockrum uniform because it's got that Speedo action.
Yeah, and it's got some serious side boob. It's a very sexy outfit.
This is very true. But that's what happens when you become a big armored thing. Your clothes become a little more liberal.
But the big kind of shock of this issue comes at the very, very last page where we get to see who has Domino's powers. And it's some sort of anti-Domino?
Yeah, it's like a nega-Domino.
Yeah,
so,
she's got like pure black skin with white hair and a big white pip on her eye.
Yeah, so apparently there's an assassin that's been running around and she's been killing pro-mutant influencers.
With very good luck.
Variety of fancy luck. There's one where she is in a manhole beneath a taxi that is stopped just because a child's balloon has run by and has startled the cab guy long enough for it to stop. And she shoots from the manhole straight up into the guy's head.
It really reminds me a lot of a major disaster from DC after Underworld Unleashed, where his powers changed from having weather control powers to controlling probability. And so he would have all these ridiculous like Rube Goldberg things where he's like, yeah, I will like flick this thing over here, which will cause this kid to drop something and it'll roll into the street, which will cause a car to move over here and it'll result in this huge supervillain plan. And I really love powers like that.
I remember Major Disaster. Wasn't he in like a Justice League team for a while?
Yeah, he was in Joe Kelly and Doug Menk's Justice League for a hot minute.
Yeah. God,
that was when he had those luck-based powers. And so I'm excited to see Evil Domino with those.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what is really going on here with this, because it seems even by mannerisms that it's Domino, just Nega Scott version of her.
Oh, I'm not Domino at all. Some would say I'm the reverse.
Yes, indeed. So that's what we're dealing with here. And that was the splash page they give us as we're going into the next issue. Next thing we're going to be focusing on here is Excalibur. Now, I was more invested in this issue than I was.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of bringing me back now.
Cullen Bloodstone.
Cullen Bloodstone from Avengers Academy and Avengers Undercover.
Yep.
Is doing a return now.
He's a real bastard now.
And some people may not remember him. If you've actually ever read Avengers Academy, he was the kid with the black shirt and white skull thing, like he's like a Simpsons character or something like that. And he's also Bloodstone's brother, and Ulysses Bloodstone's obviously son. Yeah. And his whole shtick is that Ulysses Bloodstone took him to like this weird alternate messed up Earth. But the express purpose of is like, I'm going to leave you here for a day and make you a man. And unfortunately, Ulysses got killed. And then that left this guy in this alternate Earth, in this alternate messed up Earth with 2.5 years.
Father of the Year, Ulysses Bloodstone, who once threw a baby Elsa into a pit with like an alligator or something armed with only a fork.
Yeah, read some old Bloodstone stuff. Now we're talking like some 70s level magazine stuff. Bloodstone showed up in like Deadly Hands of Kung Fu sometimes, or
I think he was in a Marvel premiere.
Yeah, they were in the magazine books.
Yeah.
He was a piece of shit.
He's got a big old rock in his chest.
Yeah, he was like a man's man. I'm gonna make a man out of my son. I'm gonna throw him in an alternate universe for a day. God, I hope I don't die permanently.
And then he did. But you know what? He gave us Elsa Bloodstone.
He did.
Which is the best thing I can say about Ulysses Bloodstone.
Yeah, his contribution to the next wave.
Also a Bloodstone Hunt. Great Mark Gruenwald Captain America arc where everyone's trying to get a hold of the Bloodstone.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It's where Crossbones is introduced.
Yeah, that's right. I was actually reading around Captain America around that time. I loved me some Captain America around that time.
Mark Gruenwald, man, he is the GOAT Cap writer. Apologies to Ed Brubaker, but...
That was actually very close to the Streets of Poison storyline.
Yes, that's around that same time.
I love that story.
Gruenwald's Cap run, and I think I bring this up every time we talk about Captain America on the show, but it's part of that holy trinity of like Claremont's X-Men, Peter David's Hulk, Gruenwald's Cap for these like 10-year plus Marvel runs.
Wait a minute, did Mark Gruenwald do the Serpent Society issues?
Yes.
Oh, he is a god.
Yeah, Mark Gruenwald was on that book from like the early 80s through like almost right up until Heroes Reborn.
Serpent Society is easily in my top 10 favorite villain groups of all time.
And he created them.
I love those guys. They're so goofy bastards.
Created Diamondback, Cap's best love interest.
Yeah, to this day. And she was part of the Domino book that was out recently. And I was really glad they maintained her as a friend and didn't do the whole, I'm a secret enemy bullshit. And I really thought they were going to do.
And while he didn't create the Squadron Supreme, he did write the amazing 12-issue book, which is a Watchmen tier quality comic.
And so much so that when they made the trade paperback after he died, they mixed his blood in with the ink.
There's his ashes.
His ashes.
Yeah, his ashes
are right. I'm sorry.
sorry.
I was thinking about what Kiss did.
Real Kiss blood.
Yeah, because Kiss did this. Kiss was making a comic with Marvel, and they put their blood in the ink. But no, this was after Grunwald unfortunately passed away, and they put his ashes in there.
Yeah.
The 12-issue Squadron Supreme is definitely up there on the must-have list of trade paperbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
But man, we've gotten crazy off course.
We have.
Back on Excalibur, the crew is having a cool down after all of the craziness that has happened with good old A staking his claim in Otherworld.
A is definitely on his days. And we get a little bit of a...
Exodus is there for once.
Yeah, of course, because Exodus shows up. A is apparently trying to be the complete transparency guy, so he can earn the trust, I guess, of his teammates.
His fellow
so it's
mutants.
like, well, he's basically like, check out my diary. And he's like, this is my grimoire. Check out all of my secrets and all of my stuff. Here it is. And of course, Betsy Braddock, right out the bat, okay, I'm okay with this. This works out.
They need to get them some, I'm trying to remember why they need to get the MacGuffin of werewolf skulls. But they have to get werewolf skulls for some spell or something.
I forgot.
I'm struggling to remember why, but it's a fun issue. Even
the reason for the MacGuffin was really never important to me, but as far as they want to go,
it's a good MacGuffin because they're bringing back some old Alan Davis Excalibur villains.
Yeah,
the
and as far as villains go, werewolves. Some people that have a loose memory of Excalibur, they'll think, "Oh, hey, werewolves, those are nice and silly." No,
messed up.
They are seriously messed up. They kill everybody that they imitate. That's real skin that they're wearing. So that poor girl halfway through is like, well, she's dead. As soon as I saw her, that's a werewolf.
And so they're on a very British wealthy royal hunt with Cullen Bloodstone to hunt these. And Cullen is like, these muties are using powers. That's unsportsmanlike.
Hunting cats.
Yeah, Cullen Bloodstone
Are those hunting cats?
In lieu of hunting dogs, as you can see here, has hunting sphinx cats.
Yeah, we need to show you the hunting cats. Meow, 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 meow.
They're very
What
cute.
in the hell is going on there?
Very cute. Love them.
Oh my God, that killed me. I wish they had actually shown them for more screen time because that is comedy gold.
Well, maybe we'll get him in the next issue because next issue, Cullen's flipping the tables on him and going to hunt him some mutants.
Is it me or did Cullen age like
he did because he was like a young teen back
He's like
in
a 13-year-old kid.
And now he's like a grown-ass man. He's probably like 18 or 19.
I'm going to make my producer's life even worse. Take a look at Cullen here from Avengers Academy. And then checking him out. See? Now check him out what he looks like in this book.
He's
growth spurt.
He's got some road miles on him.
A bit.
So yeah. And I guess I should also note Marcus Toe, who's the normal penciler for Excalibur. And I don't think he's missed an issue before this. But this week we have Wilton Santos on art. And he does a pretty good job of aping.
I like him better.
Oh, wow.
I do like him better.
I'm a big Marcus Toe guy, so I would disagree. But I think the two styles complement each other well.
I do get dragged in by the good art. And I haven't really enjoyed Excalibur. By and large, not really that much. But I felt myself, I got completely sucked into this.
Well, cool. Let's say you can have the sub issues and I'll keep the main ones.
I think that whoever was doing this definitely took some inspiration from Alan Davis.
Yeah,
especially in the way he drew the werewolves.
Oh, the werewolves look straight out of Alan Davis and how shiny they were.
Yeah, they're practically cut right out of that stuff. And I love that.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And you know, that just tells me that Alan Davis needs to draw Excalibur. That's the way it has to be.
That Nightcrawler one shot.
And once he's done, he needs to get on Excalibur. Oh, my God.
And with Casey wanting Alan Davis back, I think we should take a break before our multimedia news because we got some doozies.
Oh, God, do we?
Hey, this is Brooke with Haphazard Fiction Studios, and welcome to episode 23 of Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week. We do hope that you guys are enjoying the episode so far this week. I do know Casey and Gideon love what they do over here at Haphazard Fiction. So once again, I just want to implore everybody out there that if you've got any comments, ideas, requests, things you love, things you hate, please share them with us. That is the only way we're going to be able to get better over here. And, we definitely want to be able to make the best possible video podcast or YouTube podcast or whatever podcast that we possibly can. You can share that with us in the comments down below. You can share it with us in, you can message us directly in social media, but whatever you guys have, we are here for you. So please don't hesitate. But once again, we do appreciate you guys showing up here for us. And I take you back to Casey and Gideon with Hazardous Materials.
And we're back with the hottest multimedia news fit to print, but we don't print it.
We don't print it.
So, first off on the list, just a real quick drive-by reporting here. J.J. Abrams' Spider-Man comic has been pushed back 4 months now.
Only because they couldn't push it back infinitely.
So, for the 3 people still reading the book, sorry about that.
Really sorry.
And that's all I have to say on that topic.
Yeah, who the hell gives a crap about that? I mean, I think that's just Marvel saying, we really don't want to be involved in this. And, Abrams, fine, great. We're writing your book, but Zasker.
Brush it down the line.
So else to deal with it.
More importantly,
yes,
David Baldeón shared his design for the costumes for the new X Factor, and they look amazing.
They're super awesome. There's so many neat ideas that they've thrown into this.
It's Polaris' best look ever. I'll say that.
Yeah, they get them all in unique looks, as you can see going down the line here. Got Prestige with the red and
Dakin with those samurai pants.
Yes, Prestige with the yellow, and I really
Prodigy with the yellow.
What did I just call him?
Prestige.
Did I call him Prestige?
You said Prestige twice, yeah.
Damn it.
It's okay.
I knew it. Thank you for rescuing me from that hell. So we got a new symbol going on here. It's not exactly an X symbol because this is like their badge or their investigative stuff.
It almost reminds me of the Green Lantern logo.
And when you sent me this picture, I really thought, okay, are these lanterns? Because I saw it on my phone. All I could saw was the color stripes. And I was like, when we got into it, and I realized it was X Factor, and I almost lost my crap. And I was at work at the time.
So
I'm so stoked about this because not only have they done this, they also decided, you know what? We're bringing Aurora into this.
I was, because she wasn't on the original cover.
No.
But now, we have Aurora, and we've got, why am I blanking on his name? Northstar. There we go.
I think it's the first time that we've actually seen Northstar and Aurora together in quite some time.
Has Aurora been dead?
She's been dead and back a few times, but not this most recently.
Okay. Oh, she was in the Alpha Flight stuff when they were in space, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So she's been around. She's
been the victim of like a mental illness that's given her like multiple personalities, and some of those personalities don't play well with others.
Well, I certainly don't trust John Byrne to write that with any kind of subtlety.
No, and
I trust Leah Williams too.
Yeah. Well, I looked up on Leah Williams recently, and I didn't know that she had done the Gwenpool issues that I liked so much. So I'm super excited about that. They really have not done a lot with Aurora by herself with any justice. They've done Northstar. He's been part of the X-Men. He's gotten married. It was a big event. He's been by himself largely. He was a leader of the Astonishing X-Men, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah. I know he's at least a major part because the book he got married in.
But all this time, where the hell's Aurora been? I really do think it's time for them to start showcasing her as a solo. Huh? Now, I do want them to both together because both together, they got that cool power.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah. No, at some time, I think that Walter Linguossi did something to their powers that made it so when they touch that it doesn't happen anymore. And I think they did that because of her request.
Okay.
But I want her to see some solo action. I want her to get some sunlight put on her. She's a female Marvel hero that Marvel really hasn't done a whole lot with.
Well, I'm sure that since they were kind of saving the reveal of her for the costume reveal, they probably got something big planned for her.
Well, I know that they weren't really even intending to bring her into the book.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it wasn't until this particular drawing came out that the guy that was writing it goes, wow, I really like that. I really like what you're doing with Aurora. Yeah, we're going to put her in a book. It was really just off the way this looked. Is how Aurora got introduced into the book. And I'm glad that happened.
Well, cool.
And I want a pin with this logo on it.
It's a great logo. I'm excited for. I've already been like, when are we getting those new Dawn of X logo shirts they're using in all the X books?
Yeah.
I want an X Factor one.
I want an X Factor one.
Make it happen, Marvel.
I saw some early images of this, and it does, like, the first pages are straight off the fact North Star and his husband. And immediately I spotted my favorite, my new favorite artist, which is the guy that did the Domino
David
series.
Aldion, yeah.
And so I was super stoked about that. We got quality artists. We got apparently a good hook. I think this is going to be in good hands. And if it's not going to be Peter David, at least it's this.
Yeah. It's the book I'm most looking forward to in the X line from Wave 2. Then this is the big bombshell story of today. Actually, wait.
No, before we get bombshell,
we're going to bombshell. Keep you waiting.
We got soft bombshell, and the fact that apparently whatever's going on with Marvel and Hawkeye, of course, the TV series is going on Disney Plus. Whatever crap that they've had to delay about is out the door. I can speak English. Because Hawkeye is apparently back on the production schedule for this fall.
Awesome.
And that means we're not probably going to see him until 2021 at the very earliest. But at least, I guess, whatever problem they were having has gotten sorted out. I know that one of the problems is that I think they had to redo the casting on Kate Bishop.
Okay.
And I think there was some scuttle that with, I guess, Jeremy Renner had some kind of a personal problem going on.
The very public falling out with his ex-wife, and
that's a surefire way to stop your career right there.
Yeah, and do you remember the Jeremy Renner app?
No.
Oh, he had a very strange app. You should look it up.
I heard there was something about that.
It was a ill-advised vanity project is the charitable way of describing it.
Well, I've seen Jeremy Renner in interviews, and I've seen him completely just destroy an interview.
Yeah.
He's sometimes not the most sociable dude.
Well, this is probably going to be his last Hawkeye project, so
pretty sure of it.
And if it's based on the Fraction Aha run, hope it's a good one.
You know, this actually might just be a godsend for him.
Yeah.
For him to have a Fraction-filled run on television. I'm all about that. That'll probably save his image as far as I'm concerned. But that isn't the big thing we want to talk about.
Yes, the big thing is... First look at Batman.
Oh my God.
Pattinson is in the house.
So our director, was it Matt Reeves?
Matt Reeves.
Put on his Twitter, I think it was Twitter, right? It was
Vimeo that he linked from his Twitter.
Is the first look or the screen test of the Batman costume, at least from the cowl to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And
it looks good as hell.
It still looks great. And it's definitely stirred the pot. When you sent this to me, the first thing out of my mind was, is this legit? Because I'm going to start posting the crap out of this on every social media I'm on.
So there's a ton of details on the suit that I really love. I love how armored it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I love that the cowl is, and this kind of stands antithetical to what I just said, but I like that it's leathery and has like visible stitching on it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting choice.
I like the collar on the cape.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is the thing that everyone's talking about is the intricate logo.
Yeah, looking a little technical.
Yeah.
Like a...
My first thought was, oh, cool. He's got two flippy batarangs.
I just thought it was just some pieces that were put together to make it look like a cool logo. But
a lot of people have been spitballing the idea that is like, hey, these kind of look like parts of a gun. Did he like rebuild Joe Chill's gun into a chest plate
and split it in half and splay it out?
Yeah, which is kind of an idea that Kevin Smith and Jim Lee did in Detective 1000. But I like this a lot better because it's not just melting it down into a plate. It's like, oh, these are gun bits.
There's probably something to that.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable idea. I still think it might just be a couple batarangs on his chest, but
if it is actually the gun, then wow, Batman's got some issues.
That's super cool. It gives a lot more credence to Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves. Davis was like, yeah, this Batman's gonna be pretty wild, pretty out there.
Well, you have to.
Wild and crazy guy.
Well, there's so many Batman templates that they've already hit upon. I mean, you've got the first take on Batman, who was the Dark Knight we got back in 1989, and then of course the jump through the Schumacher era, which I call that the proto 60s. And then of course jumped right to Batfleck, which is Buff Fleck as far as I'm concerned.
Swole as hell.
And of course the more modern era telling, which is that Batman Begins, that felt more like like Chinatown to me as far as the setting go. The thing I'm really excited about for the potential of the Batman is having a Batman that's simultaneously like a grounded character and really getting into the psychology of the character, but also having
a wide cast of crazy cartoonish villains.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the balance I feel like they've never been able to really strike. Because I want to see like...
And they are shoving a lot of characters into this.
Yeah, we got the Riddler, we got Catwoman, we got the Penguin.
I mean, what's going on with that? That's 3.
Two-Face, maybe Hugo Strange. Who knows?
That's a lot of villains to pack into one movie. I mean, we've run into this problem before, and a lot of people got a little skittish back when Batman Returns did it, and they put 2 villains in there. And I was like, well,
I'm just saying, the best Batman movie of them all had 4 villains. That is, of course, the Adam West Batman movie.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a perfect film. It cheats everything it wants to. You get Riddler, you get Catwoman, you get the Joker, and you get the Penguin.
You're such a hipster bastard.
Frankly, the best, well, not the best performance for Catwoman. I'm still going to bat for Eartha Kitt for Catwoman, but
not Julie Newmar fan.
She's good. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, right. Eartha Kitt's there.
That's
true.
I
mean, like Burgess Meredith, you have to be topped to the Penguin. Cesar Romero is my personal favorite live action.
I always
Joker.
think of Burgess Meredith when I think of Penguin. Honestly,
he's the only one that does the waddle and the whine.
He does that,
and of course, Frank Gorshin's Riddler is the greatest supervillain performance of all time.
I love Frank Gorshin.
It is the template for every other supervillain performance. Like everyone's drawing on his menace. He definitely has
influenced the way that Riddler is even drawn these days. He's always drawn as a very skinny, lanky dude.
Slicked back hair.
Yeah.
And he created Riddler, the 3-piece suit look for Riddler because he hated wearing the tights.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So
I actually saw an interview with Frank Gorshin where he was talking about that.
God, he's so cool.
Frank Gorshin was a cool dude.
Yeah. And he was on Star Trek, multiple Star Trek episodes.
Yeah. Is he still alive? I don't think he's still alive.
No, he passed away probably about a decade ago.
All of them are passed.
His last role was on the Batman cartoon. He voiced Hugo Strange. So I thought that was really cool.
And I think Burgess Meredith, he checked out right around Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because his character died in Rocky 3.
Yeah. And then Cesar Romero's been dead for a while. Julie Newmar, I think, is still alive.
I think she is too.
Either her or Lee Mary Merriweather. There's one living Catwoman
and
left.
Eartha Kitt died about 7 years ago.
Yeah. Not too long ago.
We're just kind of tracking all the dead people. I'm like, poor Burt Ward holding down
he's still going.
He's still going. We saw him
on Crisis.
On Crisis. Little lumpy Burt Ward and walking his dog Ace.
Holy Crimson Skies of Death. Which also, speaking of Crimson Skies of Death, the Batman, the first look at it's awash in red light. So a lot of people have been making a Daredevil comparison. And if we can get a Daredevil hallway level fight in the Batman, I'll be happy.
Oh my God.
Give me that Batfleck in the warehouse goodness.
Absolutely.
I just need some beautifully orchestrated chaos.
I'm glad that the hallway fight has become a staple in action movies.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
And of course we gotta harken back because the very origin of the hallway fight goes back to the Raid. Mm-hmm. And I love me Raid. Man, that movie is great.
Do you remember in Ellis's Moon Knight, the issue that's basically just the Raid?
Yes.
So good.
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
And with that was good times. That's going to be a wrap. Casey, want to give us our standard spiel?
Yeah, we're going to put some links down here. We're definitely going to put down a link down there so you can check out the camera test is what they're calling it. The Batman camera test down there. We have a Patreon site. We're still fostering and throwing stuff on there. I've got my own stuff on Facebook with my comic book facts. You can also check us out on Instagram. I don't know. Do we need to get on Twitter? I brought this up a couple of times. We got a Twitter? We don't have a Twitter.
We don't have a Twitter.
Robert tells me we've got a Twitter. I've never seen it, but I trust you. I trust you, Robert.
It's out there.
Don't leave me astray.
It's on the bad side.
We're definitely involved in social medias. Please check out all of our social medias.
Give us a follow. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Give us your money, maybe.
We like that last part, but we're still burgeoning.
We appreciate any other support you can give us.
Yeah, give us a like, give us a dislike. Hell, crap! Apparently that's happened a couple of times. We're okay with it still. Screw it. Anyway, thanks for coming. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, have a good one.